So let's talk a little bit more about the mark of the beast and the mark of Yah. There's a book that's very little known. It's called the Psalms of Solomon. It's deep within some versions of the Septuagint, which is the Greek version of the Bible. The Psalms of Solomon. Here's a link for anyone that wants to take a look at it. Something of great importance has been hidden and is revealed in Psalm 15 of Solomon. Let's start at verse 6. For Elohim's mark is on the righteous for salvation. Elohim is the Hebrew word for God. So Elohim has a mark. Everybody wants to talk about the mark of the beast. Very few people want to talk about the mark of Elohim. Let's keep going. Famine and sword and death will be far from the righteous, for they will flee from the saints like those pursued by war. But they will pursue sinners and overtake them, for those who act lawlessly, key word here, will not escape Yahweh's judgment. They will be overtaken as by experts in war because the mark of destruction is on their forehead. Now, doesn't that sound a lot like the mark of the beast? And he causes all, the small and the great, the rich and the poor, and the free and the slaves, to be given a mark on their right hands or on their foreheads, which is what we just saw here in Psalm of Solomon 15, verse 9, because the mark of destruction is on their forehead. However, what's little spoken of is the mark of Yahweh, and I want to share a little bit about that. He has a mark, and it's talked about all throughout the scriptures. His commandments, which is the Torah, are his mark. Deuteronomy 6, 4-9. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh Elohim, Yahweh is one, and you shall love Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength. These words which I am commanding you today shall be on your heart, and you shall teach them diligently to your sons, and speak of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk on the road, when you lie down, and when you get up. You shall also tie them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets on your forehead. Now, I don't know about you. This can either be a huge coincidence or somebody's been lying to us. Let's keep going. And again, that was Deuteronomy 6. So his Passover feast, which we know was a mere shadow of our Messiah, is his mark. Exodus 13, 6-10. For 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread, and on the seventh day there shall be a feast to Yahweh. Unleavened bread shall be eaten throughout the 7 days, and nothing with yeast shall be seen among you, nor shall any dough with yeast be seen among you in all your borders. And you shall tell your son on that day, saying, It's because of what Yahweh did for me in the day when I came out of Egypt. And it, this is talking about the Passover, shall serve as a sign to you on your hand, and as a reminder on your forehead, that the Torah, the law of Yahweh, may be in your mouth. For with a powerful hand Yahweh brought you out of Egypt. Therefore you shall keep this ordinance at its appointed time from year to year. Exodus 13, 6-10. So we know that this was pointing to Messiah. However, Messiah tells us not to stop keeping it. And as a matter of fact, Paul even says to keep the feast. So the Passover feast and, of course, belief in Messiah is a mark. The Sabbath, his Sabbath, the seventh day of the week, which is not Sunday, is his mark. And this is Exodus 31, 16-17. So the sons of Israel shall keep the Sabbath to celebrate the Sabbath throughout their generations as a permanent covenant. It is a sign between me and the sons of Israel forever. For in 6 days Yahweh made heaven and earth, but on the seventh day he ceased from labor and was refreshed. Exodus 31, 16-17. Mourning over sin and lawlessness is his mark. Ezekiel 9, 4-6. And Yahweh said to him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and make a mark on the foreheads of the people who groan and sigh over all the abominations which are being committed in its midst. But to the others he said in my presence, Go through the city after him and strike. Do not let your eye have pity, and do not spare. Utterly kill old men, young men, female virgins, little children, and women, but do not touch any person on whom is the mark. Kind of like what we saw in the Psalm of Solomon 15, verse 6, that Elohim has his mark, and those that have his mark will be protected from the danger that's coming. And this reminds us, of course, of blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Matthew 5, 3-4. So this topic is extremely important to your walk. I would encourage you to pray and seek this further. This is still just touching the surface. To learn more, see this playlist as we discover who the beast is, his mark, and more importantly, we discuss how we focus on Yahweh's mark if we want to be part of that group that is protected and shielded in the time of great tribulation. So blessings to you and shalom.